Hi, you're listening to The Island of a Lost Pilot by Rajesh Bhatia, narrated by Deepak Agnihotri. Chapter 33, Major Ghansham. The marriage of Ritu was fixed on 10th August 2008 with a wealthy businessman. Shekhar had sent invitations to all persons who came into his contact while in Hong Kong. The guests present were Mr. Walker, Ryan, the usual team of Mr. Walker, PDEA Chief of Operations with some other officers, Mr. D. Singh, Colonel Sayo with his family and Ming. The different wedding functions were celebrated for 4 days. All the foreign guests took an active part in all the functions in traditional Indian dresses. They danced, sang and enjoyed Indian food. The memories of this wedding ceremony were to remain fresh in their minds forever. Shekhar spent more than 8 crore rupees in this fat Indian wedding, as he had sent tickets to all his foreign guests and made ample arrangements for their stay, comfort, travel and security. The guests also gave wonderful and expensive gifts to the newly wedded couple. Mr. Walker took active part as a grandfather. He gifted one BMW 7 Series car and a bungalow to Ritu. PDEA Chief, on behalf of PDEA, and Mr. D. Singh, on behalf of Indian Consulate, collaborated a 7 days honeymoon package to Philippines, of course sponsored by their offices. The Colonel presented a diamond set and Ming presented a beautiful gold set to the bride. Friends of Rohan from Frontline also participated in the marriage. They told that the Frontline building, workshop and aircraft all were totally burnt and destroyed by the angry mob. With the help of PDEA and Indian Embassy, they got admissions in the Flightline and Delta Aviation Institutes and were continuing their training without any trouble and paying extra money. Mr. Walker employed a team of professionals to research and find out the feasibility of setting up a shoe company for the manufacture of Walker brand of footwear in India. He promised to visit again when the research will be over and left 2 days after the marriage. On the 4th day, Shekhar, Surekha and Rohan left for a tour in a comfortable mini bus, taking along Colonel and his family. After 5 hours, they reached to Bhattu, a village located between Hisar and Sirsa in Haryana. Shekhar guided the driver along the dusty roads and asked to stop in front of a medium-sized house in the village. 4 jute-woven traditional Indian cots or charpais were placed in the large open space in front of the house. One hookah was kept near a comfortable chair. Shekhar got down and knocked. An old man of around 80 years appeared carrying a crutch. Shekhar said something to him and beckoned all the persons present in the minibus to get down and join him. The old man sat in the chair and pulled the hookah towards himself. Without a word, Colonel and his family got down and sat uncomfortably on the cots. They were puzzled and looking around. They wondered why, of all worth-seeing places of India, Shekhar chose this remote place. Shekhar cleared his throat and said dramatically, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Major Ghansham Das Bhatia, a war hero of the 1962 Indo-China War." These words fell like hammers in the ears of Colonel and his father. Colonel never expected such a surprise. It was his father who was the most surprised person here and unable to believe his ears. Major Ghansham smiled mischievously. So, Shekhar had not forgotten. He had kept his promise and served Major Ghansham for us, thought Colonel with moist and thankful eyes. Colonel's father moved briskly, held Major Ghansham's both hands and sat beside him on the ground. Are you, he stammered. Are you the same Major who had blessed me with my life?" "Yes, I am the same Major. I had forgotten about you, but when Mr. Shekhar came to me and asked about this event, I remembered that day plainly." "I am very glad that I have had the honor of meeting you again in my life. I am very lucky that I am able to see in person the God I have worshipped throughout my life. I want to thank you again and again." Colonel's father was crying. The Colonel came forward and also sat on the ground and said, "Not only my father, but for me also, you are more than God. I am grateful to Shekhar that he had shown me this auspicious day." "You are flattering me. I am just a human being. I did what it was humanly necessary at that time. Although it was my duty to kill the enemy, your father at that time, but at the same time, I was no one to kill your old grandparents. I am against the war. I love peace. Now please come and have seats up on the carts." Both sat on the carts. Colonel's father asked, "Sir, may I ask what happened to your leg?" "Oh, that," said the old man looking at his artificial left foot, "is a war trophy. A few days later in the same war, a rifle bullet damaged my leg, and the leg had to be amputated above the ankle. I was unfit and had to leave the army. Now, I am still busy here as a farmer in my village." Tea was brought. It was made of buffalo's pure milk and was surprisingly liked by Colonel and his family that they wanted more. Further conversation revealed that Major had 2 daughters and 1 son. The daughters were married, while his only son had died 4 years back in a train accident, leaving behind his widow, 3 daughters and a son. It was extremely difficult for him to make the both ends meet in his meager pension. Although they had some income from their small farmland, but the studies of his grandchildren and the marriage of the granddaughters was too much on his nerves. His daughter-in-law was educated only up to senior secondary education level, and also there was no scope for a good job for her in this small village. She used to take some tuition for junior classes and worked in the fields with the major. "I don't know how much balanced life I have, but as I am a fighter, I will fight till the end. I am 80 now, and only God knows that how much more time I have got. I have left everything to God. He is the one who has to do everything," said a dejected Major Ghansham. It was true that when the old man died, his pension of about 15,000 rupees, which was a major support to the family, will be stopped by the government, and the family was going to suffer a financial loss. Not only this, the loss of the male head of the family, though too old, was not recoverable soon, as his grandson was only 14 at present. They returned with a gloomy mood. On the way, Colonel's father commented, "Mr. Shekhar, it is so sad that the good people suffer a lot in their life." Said Shekhar. 2 days later, they were again in Bhattu with retired Major Ghansham. Colonel's father handed him a demand draft of rupees 37 lakh drawn on the Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation Limited Bank, or more popularly known as HSBC Bank, Barakhamba Road, Connaught Place branch, which was all the money he had from his retirement fund. He would do with the pension he was getting, and also he had his son to support him. Colonel Sayo handed him a demand draft of 30 lakh rupees drawn from the same bank, which was more than half of the prize money he had received from Mr. Walker. Shekhar also handed a check of 15 lakh rupees to Major Ghansham. At first, Major was not willing to take the money, but Shekhar persuaded him for the sake of his grandchildren. "Now, I will be able to die peacefully," he said. He blessed all of them, and they promised to attend the marriages of his granddaughters. While they were on the return journey to Delhi, Shekhar said to Colonel's father, "And now you see, uncle, that good people do suffer a lot in their life, but ultimately they are well rewarded." Said Mr. Sayo, the senior. 3 months later, retired Major Ghansham died.